Now, something a little bit different this week. Just because the British Open has this random draw, it sort of made me think, which current player is the most likely to be the next first-time winner of a ranking event? Who has never, so not best player not to have won a ranking event, but who is going to be the next new name we're talking about as a ranking event winner? So I've set you that as homework. You've gone. I've asked you for 5 names each, and we're going to, I suppose, count them down. So we'll start with you, number 5, Holty. And you don't know each other's selections, of course. This is a reveal. Could all be the same 5 players.
So my 5th on my list is Hong Yu.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've played him this year, and he was obviously very lucky to beat me. But and he did all right last year in his first year. But he's very raw. But I feel like he seems like he's quite calm. And again, you don't know what's going around in somebody's head, but maybe.
Yeah. A good outsider. Number 5, Stephen.
I've gone for Oliver Lines. A bit biased decision because he is my best mate. But I've grown up with Ollie playing. He's got a really good grounding with Pete and the club that he plays out of. I think eventually it'll come good. This week will have done him a world of good as well. And like I say, I think he's got the ingredients to do well in the game.
You've got to get to a couple of semis and just be sniffing around. I suppose it just becomes more normal to play those long form matches and you develop the mentality. Number 4, Michael.
I've gone with Ben Wollaston, my mate. Obviously, he's had a tough 18 months with his health. He seems a bit better now. I've practiced with him quite a lot. He's playing pretty well. But he seems in a good state of mind. So you never know.
Stephen, number 4.
Jackson Page for me. I think again another young player that's sort of at that level now where he's thinking about winning a title. Obviously lost in Championship League to Ali Carter at the start of this season. Very attacking player. He's developing a good all-round game as well, and obviously Mark Williams in his corner can only be a good thing.
Yeah, Williams has been talking about Jackson Page for a long time. Again, we can't always read what he's saying, but he seems to be positive about Jackson Page. He's a name that's come up quite a bit in the same way as Stan Moody. Maybe he's slightly suffered from the hype as a very young man, but very interesting one Page, I think. Number 3, Michael.
Wu Yeezy, obviously, is in form. He seems a player that's going to really sort of feed off that confidence and that momentum. So, I think he's he could do it soon.
Yeah, again, once you've been that close, you have to wonder. Stephen, number 3.
Exactly the same. Wu Yeezy. He's a relentless practicer over in Sheffield. He's been here for a number of years now. Came as a kid. His dad's with him day in, day out, doing all the right things. Very attacking, very raw, as Michael said, but we just saw glimpses of what he can do if he can develop and mould into that all-round player and have some heavy defeats against the top players that will stand him in good stead going forward. I think he could definitely win a tournament one day.
And now down to the last 2, Michael.
Si Jiahui, obviously. He's been knocking on the door for a while. He's looking like
hard to believe he's not won one, actually.
You
could surprising to hear that name.
He will. He's still quite raw in a way, but he's got a bit of momentum again. He looks like he's probably one of the most likely.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. Such a talented player, Stephen.
Noppon Sankam for me. I've practiced with him a lot over the years, and I'm actually a bit of a Noppon fan, to be honest. He's a very heavy scorer in practice. He makes maximums day in, day out. I think he as well has had a little bit of taste for success, gone deep in a few events, just not quite managed to get over the line, possibly froze in those big situations. But again, someone that I just can't see not winning a trophy.
I was going to ask you what separates Noppon from actually getting amongst the trophies and stuff. Is it maybe just once more that it's hard to be calm when you've not got the experience of those huge games?
I think so. I think he's his personality off the table is such a nice guy, and he's very hard to dislike. I think he's too nice, and when he sort of develops that, I think as well he probably gets really excited. Like he's in a semi-final, gets all excited and almost forgets about the job at hand. When he gets past that stage of think the excitement and looks at it as right, this is my chance now, this is my job, I've got to win this. Clinical, a bit more bottle and just work on that. It will come. I think it will come.
And Michael, your top tip for the next first time winner of a ranking event?
Yeah, I'll go with Jack. I mean, ultimately, he's the best player to win one. I know his form is not quite as good as it has been. People aren't talking about him so much, but I think that's a good thing.
It must be a good thing. We've talked before about it. We talked about him too much. Yeah.
Jack is incredible. Unfortunately, he's not a psychopath. He feels, which
he enjoys himself. Yeah.
Well, no, he feels. When he's out there, you can tell he feels, which is not an asset. But hopefully, things can work out. From the stars can align. He can flute one in the last frame, and he might win.
Yeah.
Like Neil, and he can get over the line. So fingers crossed for him.
I think we've said before that once he does get one, it'll be a real turning point. It's just that.
Maybe not, because he'll still be Jack, but I think it will give him a boost.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously he'll still have his feelings. He's not a freak like Selby.
Absolutely, yes.
And Stephen?
My top tip was Siege Arwe, actually. Yeah, I think he's it's still a very young player that's sort of still very much at the start of their career. He's kind of shot up the rankings with a run to the German Masters final. Obviously, he's had some good runs in Sheffield as well. Got to the semis, of course. All these big matches. The more you keep putting yourself in them positions and learning how to deal with it, the more experience he's going to get. He's obviously very talented. Still very raw, in my opinion. He got well and truly Mark Williams out in Saudi. But that's a good lesson for him again, figure out how to deal with them big players, and I think he'll win one for sure.
Stephen, is there a reason you didn't mention Jack Lisowski?
He's obviously on my short list, but the reason I didn't mention it was because we all keep mentioning him to win a title, and maybe that's
the old problem.
Holding him back.
The old paradox. Yeah,
you have. I could only pick 5 players, and I'd love to see Jack Lisowski win one day. I just don't know. There's something that's not. It doesn't seem to want to change the way that he plays, which isn't a bad thing. That's how he plays. One day it may come good, but in terms of an all-round game, he's sort of very heart on his sleeve. If it doesn't go right, if it's not quite going his way, then he's a little bit one-dimensional, maybe. I don't know. I'm
maybe similar to what Michael said. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean,
he's not a psychopath.
No, basically,
literally, that is the only reason. You can talk about his safety game, right, and all that, whatever. But he pots enough balls to win an event, right? But he feels.
Yeah.
And I have a lot of empathy, to be fair.
Yeah.
a lot of empathy.
There you are.
Yeah.
You just got to be able to switch off your feelings and be a killer.
Absolutely. Yes.
And Jack's no mention of Jack Jones from either of you, even though he was, within one match of being world champion. Do you both feel he's still got a bit of a way to go before he's regularly challenging for those trophies?
I mean, he obviously got a chance, but he's not a regular. He seems to have had just like a few good events in the last few years, which happened to be the biggest. But it's not like he's regularly getting to like the quarters and semis. It's just the stars have aligned on the correct weeks. To be fair to him, for him. So I think he's not. Yeah, if you took them tournaments away, he's not challenging very often at all, really. So I think that's why he's not in mine.
Yeah, interesting. We've said it before, but you don't have to do that well in that many tournaments if they happen to be the right tournaments.
Do the right one.
It's all about timing, isn't it? Timing is everything in this game. You do well in Sheffield, you fly out the rankings. You do well in the Gibraltar Open, and you move up 2 or 3 places. So
Jack Jones was struggling the week before the cruise. He wasn't on particularly good form the week before qualifying, it's amazing how that fortnight in Sheffield can.
Yeah,
well,
the stars aligned.
Transform your career again. The stars aligned. You're in a very mystical mood tonight.
Absolutely, it's such a big thing in life and the game.